On display in Washington, an unusual take on images associated with Native Americans. Whether they have much to do with their real story is a matter Rita Braver now explores.
Familiar images floor to ceiling in a rainbow of colors with a common theme: Indians everywhere. The exhibit is called Americans, recognition of the huge role Native Americans have always played in our nation's culture. How many things are up here?
300 objects and images.
And was it hard to track them down?
Not in the least. We could replace this set of images with another set very easily and then replace that set.
Co-curators Cecile Gantome and Paul Chat Smith, a member of the Comanche Nation of Oklahoma, wanted this exhibit, now on view at the National Museum of the American Indian in Washington, to show
This is Thunderbird 1962. Now
just how often Native American images speak to the idea of excellence.
There's an understanding that somehow linking it Pontiac or Thunderbird, what is that? It's authenticity, it's integrity, it's quality.
Then there's the prickly issue of sports teams. The museum has come out against the use of what they deem racist images, like the Cleveland Indians' Chief Wahoo, which the team is phasing out next year. But most of the items shown in this exhibit are created for children, because curator Paul Chat Smith says he's convinced names and mascots are beside the point. It's all about loyalty to a hometown team.
They never became fans because they were into Indians, right? If it was the Philadelphia Redskins and the Washington Eagles, I guarantee you those fan bases would be just the same.
And all of these controversial appropriations of the Indian imagery are made more troubling because at the same time our nation was embracing Native American culture, we were decimating the Indian nations, killing thousands, seizing ancestral lands, forcing tribes onto reservations. Historically, some of this Native American imagery seems to have been used on official documents and medals at the very same time that the country was taking its most devastating actions against Native Americans.
So we're saying Americans cannot get away from this very, very deep and dark truth. It's there, if only subliminally, it's always there.
And it was there from the beginning. For example, take a look at this diplomatic medal, created by none other than Thomas Jefferson.
And it represents the United States as an American Indian woman. So the first personification of the United States in art was an American Indian woman.
And the exhibit delves into the true story of one of the most famous Indian women of all, Pocahontas. Remember the famous animated Walt Disney movie? No! She's shown saving the life of Captain John Smith, leader of the Jamestown settlement.
I love him, Father.
There's a copy here of a fresco in the U.S. Capitol which depicts the same story. But historians have doubts about this legend.
Cool story, but doesn't check out. What does check out is that she does seem to be in the middle of everything.
So yes, this daughter of Chief Powhatan did marry English settler John Rolfe in 1614. This is the only true portrait made during her lifetime. In our time, the exhibit notes, the United States military, which once battled American Indians, now associates itself with their fearlessness. There's a prototype of a Tomahawk missile and models of Black Hawk, Chinook, and Apache helicopters. Is that considered an honor right now in the Indian community?
Depending who you ask, it's an honor or an insult. Leaders of the Apache nations are very proud that one of the most ferocious weapons in the whole Pentagon arsenal is named after them. Other people would feel it's inappropriate. There'll be a lot of opinions.
As there are on anything involving Indians. The exhibit features a parade of figures posing in Indian garb, even Barbie, circa 1960. It might not be done today, but it underscores the important and complex role that Native Americans, now about 2% of our population, have played in forging this nation's identity.
It's a shared history, and it is the history that created this country, and really that has created who the American people are.